What the heck was that? Was that a bear? Bear! Bear! Run! Ah! Good afternoon, and thanks for tuning in to another episode of Survival Guide. I am your host, Christopher Columbus, no relation to the other guy. In today's episode, we're going to be discussing how to survive in a frozen wasteland. In preparation for this episode, I flew myself out to the middle of the Alaskan wilderness, where I've been living for the past 3 months without so much as a camera crew to keep me company. As you can see, I am still alive, which means that you can be too, if you ever end up in Alaska for 3 months with no food or water. So, we're going to discuss the 4 core elements of survival, which of course are food, water, shelter, and friendship. Without those things, you're either going to starve to death. What's the opposite of drown to death? Thirst to death. You're going to freeze to death, or you're going to go crazy, which is what I have not done. So, I know what I'm talking about. Let's talk about food, okay? Because food is nature's way of feeding us, and we need that. Normally, in a survival video, I would recommend the #1 food, Earth's food. Eat dirt. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Because dirt has all of the nutrients that our body needs. It's got all the protein, it's got all the vitamins, it's got all the fiber, and it's got all the calories that the human body needs to survive. It's also a great renewable food because Earth goes in, Earth gets digested, Earth comes out. It's the circle of life. It's literally the perfect food. And so that's always what I say to go for first. The only problem is, when you're in the Alaskan wilderness, the ground is buried under a harsh sheet of ice, and it's not ripe for harvesting. Not to worry, because I have some solutions, and I'm gonna show them to you now. With the absence of dirt in all of its glory, we here at Survival Guide recommend finding some trees or long grass down here, as you can see this. All of this stuff is good for eating. It's not going to be quite as good for you as dirt would be, but it is going to keep you alive. So just eat up. Take a tree branch here. Start small. Start reasonable. Start with twigs. And just work your way up until you're eating logs. Your teeth kind of have to adjust. You gotta get stronger, I chewed down a whole tree just last week. I started right into the trunk, like on the side, like taking bites out of it. You know what I mean? And that's what you gotta do. That's what you gotta do. And that is the key to survival, right there. Next, we're going to talk about our good friend water. Now, this is the other problem with the Alaskan wilderness, is that there's no water. I mean, look at the ground. Do you see any water down there? Absolutely not. This is a huge problem because the human body can go for 3 to 4 days without food, but it can only go for 40 days without water. And then you're going to die. What my solution to this has been, maybe there is no way to find water on the ground, but there's other places where we can get water. Where are those places? Your own human eyes. That's right, you have to cry. And that's what I do. I just think of really sad stuff. I start crying and I just lick them right as they come down. It's like my eyes are feeding my mouth the water that it so desperately longs for. Next thing up, shelter. This is actually one of the benefits of being trapped in the Alaskan wasteland, is that you have plenty of opportunities for shelter because of all of the snow. Because snow is actually quite warm. So I find a pile of snow, like so. You gotta lay down in it, and then I like to cover myself with about 3 to 5 feet of snow. Okay? So you just lay here. If it's snowing, it's especially helpful because it's like nature's... The snow's really frozen. It's like nature's doing your work for you, basically. But once I'm covered under 5 feet of snow, I can't feel that cold at all. I'm nice and toasty warm in my little cocoon of ice. The thing about snow is that it's only cold when you have the wind and the outer elements. But once it gets packed on top of you, that's hot. That's hot snow. Snow is hot now. So just keep that in mind. It could save your life. I'm serious. Now the last thing we're going to talk about here is friendship. You're probably thinking, you've been alone in the Alaskan wilderness, far away from civilization. How on earth are you supposed to have friends? And I'm going to show you. Okay, so this is my friend here. It's a pine tree of some sort. I don't know the official brand of this one, but he's a good pal. He's a good friend. We met 2 months in, you know. Before that I was kind of losing my mind, but ever since I met this guy, things have been fine. Isn't that right, huh? Why don't you tell him how we met? Yeah. Wait till you hear this next part. Come on. Oh, come on, don't tell him that. Don't tell him about that part. Come on now. What's he saying? I don't even know what this guy is saying. What are you talking? Dude, okay, come on, chill out now. They don't need to know about that. Dude, come on. Okay, that's enough. You said you wouldn't tell anyone about that. You promised. You said that was between us. You know what? No, that's it. I'm done with you. I'm sick of this. No, I'm done. Wow. You know, some trees, they say they're your friend. They ask you to confess your deepest, darkest secrets. And then they just expose you like that. The second that you point a camera in their tree face, really sucks. I don't really want to talk to that tree anymore. I guess I'll have to find another friend before I go crazy. But I can. The other side of friendship that you have to deal with out in the wilderness is enemies. And there are enemies here in Alaska, and they're bears. To deal with the bears, or any enemy that you come across, you're gonna need a weapon. And the thing about weapons is it has to be makeshift, you know? It has to be something that you can make with the resources presented to you. I know it doesn't look like much, but this baby has murdered over 375 bears so far, making the Alaskan brown bear an endangered species, and me potentially a wanted man. It's survival of the fittest out here. So if the bear can't take the heat, the bear's gonna take the extinction. Once you have your trusty weapon, you're gonna wanna train with that weapon so that you're always ready. Obviously, the golf club wasn't my first choice. I would have preferred a sword or a whip or maybe a lightsaber, but I make do with what the wilderness provides. Well, there you have it. Those are the basics. Thank you very much for tuning in. Tune in next week. We're going to discuss the do's and don'ts of discovering new land and how to best enslave any indigenous peoples that you find there. I am Christopher Columbus. Thank you for watching. Have a wonderful afternoon. Thanks. My journey is over. I've just arrived in what I believe to be India, about to meet the natives. Excited for that. I'll be sure to breathe on them, give them all of my diseases, right? I'm actually a registered super spreader in the state of Massachusetts due to my tendency to go to large, crowded areas without a mask on. Come on now. Oh man, I can't wait for the people back home to meet these natives of India. I wonder what we should call them, these natives of India.